1, go. Careful. What are you doing? Are you okay?
Hello and welcome to Power Drifting, the Rally Game podcast bonus stage. You know the score by now, I'm sure. On bonus stage, we take a brief look at a game that probably doesn't warrant its own full-blown 45-minute episode. And in this case, that's certainly true. And that is because this time, I'm taking a look at a game you may know as International Rally Championship. Unless you played it in the UK, where it was known as Tommi Mäkinen Rally. So, let's get this jalopy started. Okay then, so Tommi Mäkinen Rally is technically a part of the Magnetic Fields Rally Championship series, or at least the PC version is. That's because, as mentioned in the intro, it was released as International Rally Championship on PC, and it's the prequel to the rather excellent Mobile 1 Rally Championship. The PlayStation version, though, was farmed out to Europress, and while the international version kept the same name, the UK version was rebranded as Tommi Mäkinen Rally, and I would like to hazard a guess that was due to the popularity of rally in the UK at the time, and especially with a name like Colin McRae fresh in the public's consciousness, with Codemasters like knocking it out of the park with two epic rally games on the PlayStation around that time. So I think that they wanted to capture that wave of hype and add the current champion, or current world rally champion, as the name suggests, at the time, 1998, it was Tommi Mäkinen, and put it onto a game that probably didn't need or warrant it, but we'll get to that in a bit. What you need to know about this game is, though, that it's terrible. I'm not even going to hide the fact it's terrible. And as somebody who owned a Saturn back in that period, I would always look across at the PlayStation and, I had quite envious eyes. I was looking at Colin McRae and all the other different rally games, Rally Cross, and all I had on my Saturn was Sega Rally. I mean, obviously it was one of the best rally games ever made, but things were coming out all the time on the PlayStation, and then Tommi Mäkinen came along, and I was like, oh God, here's another one. But I needn't have been jealous, because this game is, I believe the term is dumpster fire, and we'll get onto that in a second, but first, let's look at some of the facts and figures around this game. Yeah, so when you start the game up, you're presented with a pretty rudimentary menu, and on that menu you've got options like Arcade, Championship, 2-player, all pretty standard stuff. What they've added here, though, as well, is a mode called Challenge Tommi, and I'll get to that in a minute, just because it's hilarious how bad it is. But to begin with, Arcade is just your standard racing laps around really badly pixelated courses based on, well, nothing really, because there's no official WRC license. These are just stages based in countries where they've taken stereotypical features of that country and just turned it into a game. So in England, there is an England for some reason, as well as Wales, but you've got England and you've got, I'm sick of seeing red phone boxes. Red phone boxes are very uncommon now in England, the UK, Why they keep putting them in games, I don't know. Just to, oh, look, it's England, it's got a red phone box. Anyway, there's red phone boxes in the England courses. You've got Alaska, weirdly. The usual plethora of courses, such as the USA, Finland, and they all look as you would expect them, i.e. nothing like the real world. And they're all like in canyons most of the time, so you can't actually like stray off the course like you can in Colin McRae. You just, if you hit the side of the track, the car will just kind of go on its side or on its roof, and then you'll basically just be put at the back of the pack. And that's because this game, like all bad rally games from this period, features not point-to-point time-based rally courses. No, it's basically you against the AI. Really bad AI that could just drive away drive away into the future then, drive away into the distance. You can't catch them, and they never make a mistake, and you'll very rarely see them. Some games from this period do this quite well. I mean, as I said earlier on, Rallycross, that kind of thing, Colin McRae again, even to a certain extent, V-Rally. But the vast majority of them, if you play them now with modern head-on, they're quite unplayable. And this is a prime example of just how bad rally games can get on the PlayStation. It's just not an enjoyable experience. So going back to the menu, then you've got an arcade where you choose your course, you play it. If you get a high enough place, then you move on to the next one. Interestingly, you do have this kind of like Outrun-esque style grid thing that you can choose which course you do next. So that's interesting. But in the championship, you just choose a country, you go through the motions, you do each track one after the other. And you've still got adversaries to race against. It's not realistic in the slightest. It's just basically Rallycross. Not Rallycross as a game, I mean Rallycross the actual sport, but on like off-road courses. Badly designed off-road courses. You've got your two-player mode, you've got a Challenge Tommy mode, and that's what I want to talk about. So Challenge Tommy mode is something that they've shoehorned into this to make it more relevant that Tommi Mäkinen is on the box. And all it is a time trial against an impossible-to-beat ghost car where Tommi Mäkinen, I'm assuming it's the actual Tommi Mäkinen, delivers the most dialed in voice clips you've ever heard. I'll put some footage or audio recording in this podcast so you can hear what I'm talking about. But he's unbeatable, and that's not helped by the fact that the game itself is just unplayable because the cars just seem to speed up and never stop getting faster, even though the speedo says that you're doing, 100 miles an hour. The cars, as long as you keep your finger on the accelerator button and you manage to not hit the walls, the cars just keep getting faster and faster and faster as you go around the course. And it gets to the point where it becomes unplayable. The game itself is awful. The graphics are terrible. The sound is crap. The music, oh my God, listen to some of the it's like weird kind of like dueling banjos music a lot of the time. Or like awful techno Europop. There's no co-driver. There's just the humming of engines, this awful music, the same repetitive courses going round and round and round. How much they pay Tommi Mäkinen to put his name on this, I do not know, but I'm shocked. I'm shocked at how bad it is.
Hi, I'm Tommi Mäkinen. I've heard you pretty good. Let's see. Remember to brake before you hit something. You're not going fast enough. This was only our first try, right?
Right, I'm going to force myself to talk about some positive things about this game because it did cost me £5 on eBay, and I feel like I'm never going to get that £5 back. Well, I'm not. I've spent it now. But there are some positives to this game. The menus are quite nice, I suppose. You do have officially licensed rally cars from some quite big manufacturers like Renault, Proton, and Mitsubishi and Subaru. All the cars that you would imagine from this era of rally are all in there. They don't actually, control any differently to each other. They all control badly. They all want to smash into the wall and turn over equally. But, that's nice that they got a garage of officially licensed cars. There is also a 3D track editor, which is actually quite good, to be honest. It's not as advanced as something like V-Rally 2, but obviously that game came out after this one, quite some years after this one. And it's quite good fun. You are limited to the amount of tiles you can lay down, and you can't really do anything really like adventurous, like change the like the elevation or the gate. Was it the altitude of the courses? But it's still quite nice that they actually decided to put something like this in. And I have spent the majority of my time with this game building my own tracks and just racing around them because it's far more enjoyable than trying to race against the infallible AI vehicles that never crash and never do anything wrong and just fly off into the distance. So I don't really know what else to say about this. I know it's going to be a really short episode because this is just a really, really poor game. And I think it's probably more interesting to talk about why this game exists as it does, in that Tommi Mäkinen has got his name on the front. Again, as I said in the intro, they probably gave Tommi Mäkinen some money and said, look at Colin McRae, he's got his game. He's got a game. He's not the champion, though. You are, Tommy. You are the champion, and you've not got a game. And he's like, well, this game already exists, and it doesn't have my name on. Yes, Tommy, but we've not released it in the UK yet. So put your signature on this bit of paper. We'll give you a wad of cash, and then we'll put your name on it. Everyone's going to be fresh off the back of... that sounds a bit weird, but everyone's going to be fresh off Colin McRae and Colin McRae 2. There you go. It's like a blank check. You're raising your profile in the UK. Everyone loves Rally. Bit weird they didn't release it in Finland as Tommi Mäkinen Rally. At least I don't think they did. I'm kind of waffling now because I don't really know what else to say. I'm just kind of flicking through the manual, and even that's disgusting me just because it's so rubbish. What can I say? Bit more graphics. It does have that look that I always envied as a Saturn owner of the time, because Saturn games had that net curtain effect and all the lens flares and lighting effects. Tommi Mäkinen has the slightly more deluxe fogging and streetlight effects that PlayStation games had. So if you were listening to this and you had a Saturn at this time, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Where you just kind of looked at games and just thought, why can't my games look like that? Tunnel B1. If you had a Saturn and you owned Tunnel B1 and you had a mate who also owned Tunnel B1 and you played that game at your house and you played it at their house, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Net curtains, up your jacksie on the Saturn, not so on the PlayStation. That's the kind of effect that I get from Tommi Mäkinen. I know I'm waffling. I'm trying to think of positive things to say about this game. Ultimately, it's just my opinion, this, but I would like to tell you, dear listener, if you see this cheap on eBay and you've got, rose-tinted memories of how good it was, just let me tell you now, those memories are fake. They're fake memories. They're implanted memories. Do not buy this game again because you will be sorely disappointed at how crap it is. And that's pretty much all I've got to say about Tommi Mäkinen Rally. Tommi Mäkinen, the guy, I've never met him, obviously, but he's probably a really lovely bloke. He's a legend in Rally, but this game does him no favours. So he should steer clear. You should steer clear. What you shouldn't do, though, is steer clear of our Twitter. It's Powerdrift Pod. Give us a like. Give us a retweet. Listen to us on iTunes. You can find all our podcasts also on YouTube. And I'm really sorry that I've been quite negative in this episode. And I'm sure that some people will disagree with what I've just said and say that this is the best game on the PlayStation. Those people do exist. But for now, I'm going to sign out. And I'm going to say thank you very much for listening to this particular episode of Bonus Stage. And I'll see you on the next proper episode when we talk about a proper rally game.